Hello, and welcome to a demonstration of the EchoSign widget feature, or web-hosted document feature. So, first question most folks have is, what is a widget or a web-hosted document? So let's show you an example of what the final product is going to look like first, and then we'll come back into EchoSign and show you how to create one. So if we click over here on our website, we've got an example of a widget that we've created. This is a transaction dispute form. And so the idea behind a widget is that this is a document that is always available on the web, either in front of or behind your portal, your online banking website, and your members can access it without having to receive an email notification first. They'll just click on a link or navigate to a web page, and here will be the document. So they'll have to agree to the terms of use, just like they would normally. And then here is our transaction dispute form. So the idea behind this widget or web-hosted document is that the member will be able to fill it out. They can type their information in here, and then also scroll down. Once they fill the form out, they'll be able to sign it. And they'll be able to click here to sign, and then enter in their email address, which is a required piece for our widget or web-hosted document. Because what will happen is, at the end of the process, they'll click the link to sign, and then an email notification will be generated automatically and sent to that member at that email address, basically asking them to confirm that they have indeed filled out this form, and by doing so, when they click on the link in the email notification, they will be basically acknowledging that they are, in fact, who they say they are, and they have filled out the document and signed it. Right? That will complete the verification process. Okay, so let's drop back and go into our EchoSign portal here. So just like with everything else that we've been demonstrating in the EchoSign website, you have to have an account. So I'm logged into my EchoSign account, and if we look over here underneath additional functions, we see create a widget. So we'll go ahead and click on that, and it brings us here. The first thing we have to do is come up with a name for our widget. So this is just going to be a test, so I'm just going to call it a test widget. And then we get to choose the method of identity verification here. Just like we do when we send documents out via ad hoc, we get to choose the method by which we authenticate or verify our member's identity. So if we hit the drop down here, what we're seeing is by default it is set to shared secret password. So that is an option, and I'll show you an example of what that looks like when you use the password option for a widget. Here's an example of an online payment deferral request form that's set up as a widget, and we have used the password protection method of verification. So what will have to happen is the member will have to contact someone at the credit union to obtain the shared secret password in order to proceed and sign that document. So this is another method that you can use to verify your member's identity when signing widgets. We're going to make it a little bit simpler. We're just going to use the email option. You can also use the KBA option, just so you know. That's the knowledge-based authentication method, where the member will have to answer a series of questions in order to proceed. We're finding, as we speak to our other customers that have been using this feature of EchoSign for some time, that the types of forms that they use for widgets don't require such a strong method of authentication. So they're typically sticking with the email verification, or sometimes the shared secret. So we're going to dial it down, just use the email verification. Another option or feature of the widget is that we can enter the email address of someone that needs to countersign this document. So that would be somebody in addition to the member that also needs to sign that document. Depending on the document here, you could have a multiple people that need to countersign. And then you can also indicate whether they need to countersign first or they want to do it last at the end of the process. So you can check that box. We're not going to enable that for this demonstration. We're going to leave it unchecked. Now we're going to upload, or I'm going to actually drag over a PDF here into this area. And by dragging it into that square, it will automatically upload it. So here's the document that we're going to use to create our widget. And now the upload of the document is complete. If I uploaded this document in error, I can click on the trash can here and it'll delete it, and I can drag another file in. I can actually drag more files in if I'd like and have them, the member have to sign multiple documents as part of this widget. But we're just going to stick with the one for now. And we want to check the box here to preview position signatures or add form fields. What that's going to allow us to do is to edit and add items to our form. So I'm going to go ahead and check that box and then click Create. And I purposefully picked a document that was already designed as a PDF. So it already had fillable fields added. As you can see, since this is an Adobe product, it understands, it recognizes all the fillable fields that are already on the form. So by doing so, I've saved myself a lot of time here in the design stage. So all the fields actually import successfully. So as you see, as I hover over these fields, the names of the fields are popping up. So I've got fillable fields here. I can right click on these fields and go to Edit and make them required. Any field that has a red box around it will be required. I can make a field read only, or make it multiple line entry, or mask some of the field data on the form. There's lots of options here at the design stage to these fields that are on the form. So this is a normal fillable text field. But let's look at some of the other types of fields that we can add to this form. These are checkbox fields here. You can zoom in and out using this little slider up top. So we'll zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see what those checkboxes look like. So here are the checkbox fields. If we scroll down more, let's go to the area where we're going to have our members sign. So here's our signature field area. So I'm going to grab a signature and drag that down. So that'll be an area where my member will need to sign. And just so you know, that red line that you see, that is sort of like your guideline to let you know that if you place that right on your graphic line that's on your form, see that graphic line that's actually part of my design there, if I place it right on top of that, when the member signs in this area on the form, it'll actually appear right on top of that line, just as though they signed with pen and ink right on that line. So it's a nice design feature there to help you align where your signatures will end up on the form. So we've got signature fields that we can drop down onto the form. Initials, we can do a signature block. Let me show you what that looks like here. What a block does, it combines the signature and the email requirement all in one field. And this will come in handy for use with widgets because, as I mentioned earlier, with the email verification method, we require that the member enter their email address somewhere on the form so that when they finish signing, they're going to get an email notification back asking them to confirm that they have signed that document, they have filled it out, and they are who they say they are, and that will wrap up the process. So this will be a nice object to add to your documents because it combines both of those fields in one. Okay, I don't have enough space for that particular field on this form, so I'm going to delete that. But if we go down the line here, up top are all of our different design elements that we can add to the form. Here are some info fields. Remember, anything that with a red border is going to be required. So if I pull down an email field here, that will require that the member enter in their email address in that field. This is a system date field here, by the way. If I pull this down onto this document, it will automatically populate with today's date in that field. The member won't have to actually type it in. It'll put it in there for you automatically. And click over to the data fields here. You can add more text fields, drop-down lists, checkboxes, radio buttons, and then we're seeing a lot of institutions take advantage of this file attachment feature here. So let me show you what that looks like. If I grab this field and I put it here on our form, what this will allow your members to do is, in addition to signing the document, they'll be able to click on this field and actually attach a file to the form. Let's say you need them to send you a copy of their pay stub or their proof of income, their driver's license, some ancillary document that needs to accompany this form. They'll be able to do that just by clicking on this link here. They'll be able to browse out and attach that file. And what you might want to do is click edit there and update this display label so that they know exactly what to attach to the document. So if I need a driver's license, I can put that in there, and then now they'll know that that's what they need to attach to the form. Okay, it's a nice feature that we're seeing a lot of our other customers that have been using widgets for a while. They've been taking advantage of this with great success. So we're going to delete that for this demonstration. So you get the idea here. We're designing our document. We do have some design tools over here. We can hit the drop-down list, and we've got some align tools by selecting multiple objects on the form, holding down Shift. I can select multiple fields, and then I can align them to the top, to the bottom, to the left, or to the right, so I can clean up my form design. So let's say here, my social security number, my date of birth, my home, and my business phone, I want them all to be on the same y-axis there, horizontal across the form. Click that, and you see my date of birth sort of bumped up a little bit. Alright, so I did that by holding down the Shift button on my keyboard while I clicked multiple objects. Alright, so that's the align tools there. You can hide those when you're not using them. And when you're ready to go, you can click Save. And so now what you're seeing up at the top is that you've got two options, two ways to use this widget. They've given you some script that you can actually copy and paste into your HTML, just like we've done here in this example. This is a widget that we put into our HTML page here for our Skip-a-Pay. And so this is how that document will be embedded into the page. Or EchoSign gives us a URL that you can copy, and you can add it to your library or create a hyperlink from your web page to this page. And when your users click on it, this is what they'll see down below. This is a preview of what our form is going to look like. So you'll see here it's from me. Now, this is one of the most important aspects of creating a widget. Since I have created the widget, I will be the recipient of all the email notifications that come back to let me know that the documents have been signed by the member. So, something to keep in mind as you move forward with this. If you want to implement this at your institution, I've been suggesting that credit unions create an account in EchoSign just for widgets, so that they log in to EchoSign with that account, and then that way all the notifications that come back to let you know that the member has signed this document, they all go back to that special widget account and not to an individual, just one person. Okay, so here's our widget. You can see our example here. There's the checkboxes. I can click on those This is where I'm required to enter in my email address. Remember that anything that has a little asterisk there, I have to enter that in. So I can type that in. See today's date automatically populated right above that field. And then down below you'll see I've got multiple pages that I can scroll through, and here's the area on the form where I can sign. And so you can quickly test your widget right after you create it to make sure that everything is going to look and behave the way you want it to. All right, so everything looks good there. And so now we can go back to my Manage tab. And I just want to show you real fast. Down below here is where you're going to see all your widgets. So if you are the owner of a widget, you'll see your widgets listed here, and you can always come back in and just grab the code if you'd like by clicking on Get Code, or if you need to edit that widget, you can click Edit, or if you ever need to delete a widget, you can click on the widget here, and then over on the right hand side, click Delete. And now that widget will not be published any longer either. Okay, so that concludes our widget demonstration. Hopefully this was helpful for you, and thanks for listening.